Hello Virgo. Now we are going to be doing something a little different. This reading is actually going to be something that's going to be focused entirely on twin flames. I have been guided. They want me to do a reading just for twin flames because there's some intense energy that's coming in. We will go ahead and get started. So what we have is we have the divine masculine and then we have the divine feminine. And we're going to be covering what the current challenges from each perspective. We're going to be covering how they are feeling for the other, the outcome which each desires with the other, the actions that they each need to take that are recommended, what the foundation is of the situation currently, and then if they take these actions that are recommended, what the outcome will be. And then I believe they're also going to have me pull a card from the Angel Answers deck by Doreen Virtue. So I have prayed over those, shuffled those, so if they have us go in that direction, we will do that as well. So we are going to start with the divine masculine. And the first card that we have up here is, it's 2. It is, and this is the current challenge that the divine masculine is facing. And it is, at the bottom it states movement, choices, and decisions. Because they're saying right now it's a time of tremendous change. There's been a lot of changes that have been occurring for the divine masculine, but he's now come to this point in order to progress forward that choices have to be made, decisions have to be made. And they're saying he's been spending a lot of time actually contemplating that decision, but hasn't actually made the decision. And in this card you have, and I do hope you guys can see it, so you have this figure, and actually I'm going to pick it up because it's so small you may not be able to see it. So if you look in here, the figure, he's actually masked. He has hat, scarf, completely covered up. He's looking at money, finances, rings, matrimony. There's the branch. It makes me think of olive branch, extending an olive branches. But he's trying to make this decision. He's had this decision coming about union, partnership, relationship, commitment. It also brings in a financial factor for him. And they're saying that, you know, he's been contemplating it for a long time. There have been a number of recent changes, coincidences, things that have been occurring that he's realized they aren't just random coincidence. He's realizing that they are synchronistic events. They are signs from the divine. He's noticing that they're all pointing toward a positive outcome, trying to point him in the positive direction, but he's still not making that decision. He's still at a point of indecision. And they're saying he's also feeling the spiritual connection. So this fourth pillar out here, it's clouds. So they're saying he's thoroughly reviewed, thoroughly taken a look at everything, done T-charts, pros and cons from all perspectives. The challenge is he's still stuck, still not making that decision. Now what he's feeling for the divine feminine, the card that we have here is, it's orphaned. And the divine feminine, you know, she's still going through a number of changes, but she has a lot of the big changes. She's come out of those because you're mirrors of each other. So one of you will typically venture on something before the other. Primarily the divine feminine has had a number of changes. Now the divine masculine is completing his changes as well. But both have been going through a tremendous change for a couple of years because in order to bring in the blessings, things have had to be removed, shifted, changed, realigned, awakenings, but it's a lot. And so he's at the end of this. He has the number 5. So he's you know, near the completion of all these changes, trying to decide, okay, all this, you know, has been taken away, changed, shifted. Where do I go from here? Trying to make that decision, but he feels alone. And this card is supposed to be signifying how he feels about the divine feminine. And you have like this little snowman. Actually, I'll hold this one up. You have like this little snowman. He's got his head down, looking in the direction of the feminine, but very sad, forlorn, all alone. So he's feeling a sense of loss, a sense of uncertainty, a sense of sadness because of the things that have transpired between the two. And it's on both sides. It's not one over the other. It's not as though, you know, because a lot of people like to say, oh, the divine masculine, he just runs, he runs away. Well, so does the divine feminine because you're mirrors of each other. You don't realize it, but you're actually both running in opposite directions to take care of different things because you both have different challenges, things that you have to overcome, things that you have to heal, lessons that you have to learn, which is why you're perfect divine complements of each other. So it's been a long journey for both of you, but you've come to this point that you're both ready in your own rights. Now they're saying with the divine masculine, they're saying the decision he's trying to make is about her. whether to move forward, whether to commit. Is it going to be as good as he's thinking in these signs he's getting? Will he have that loyalty and love that he believes is there, but he's uncertain? There's also financials. I mean, he's considering financials. But they're saying he wants to go in her direction, but because of the past, he feels that it's over. Because of lack of communication, back and forth, which you can also see in the Divine Feminine card, and we'll go over hers momentarily. Back and forth, he feels that the opportunity has been lost because there haven't been the communications, because it has been a back and forth, because it is a process where both we're learning, healing, preparing, but he feels as though the opportunity is lost. And they're saying, feeling orphaned because they're saying he has this fear that, okay, if I make this decision and move in her direction, she won't accept me because of what's transpired in the past between us. Okay, I guess, okay, they're going to skip ahead a little bit, but we'll come back because he feels, so this card down here is Mountain. He feels that to move forward, to communicate, to head in that direction, which he desires, he'd like to do, he feels it's a mountain that can't be overcome. It feels as though it's this tremendous obstacle. Because the thing is, Divine Masculine, so typically, with the number of twin flame clients that I have in my own experiences and having the opportunity to work with many of you, what I've discovered is typically the Divine Masculine will consciously hear the thoughts of the Divine Feminine. They both feel each other, but the Divine Feminine has a very strong sense of feeling him physically, as well as, you know, intuitively getting information on him. So she will intuitively get these hunches, know what's going on, get a lot of details as to what's occurring. But that's all because her intuition connection with him is supercharged. He, on the other side, like they're pointing out the ear, he hears her. So the Divine Masculine is hearing the thoughts of the Divine Feminine. So he's hearing her frustration. He's hearing her throwing in the towel. He's hearing her thoughts of being tired of going round and round. So now he's ready. He's ready to move forward, but he doesn't think he stands a chance. Now, the outcome that he desires, the card that we have here is 14, but it has this man and woman. They're in perfect balance with each other. Represents twin flames, the perfect complements of one another. Now, this card, it is a card of balance. It's a card that speaks of renewal, compromise, harmony, coming into union, being open and willing to receive, to give and receive, the balance between give and receive, making sure your needs are met. In the traditional tarot deck, this card is actually the Temperance, which, you know, the Temperance is a card of, you know, equal parts, perfectly balanced, and that when they come together as one, they magically create, they create something magical, they manifest something magical. So he's ready to come together. He's ready, they're saying, ready to also come into balance with give and take, because a number of Divine Feminine have felt that Divine Masculine's not interested. Isn't interested, doesn't want to be with her because, you know, that magnetic pull and push. Divine Masculine and Feminine come together and then separate and come together and separate. So what that has led to is her believing that he doesn't want that. Her believing that he's not reciprocating the love, not reciprocating action, doesn't feel the same. But what she's unaware of is he does feel that now, because it is with twins, it truly is that magnetic push and pull, because you both have things that you have to work on. So what she's unaware of is he had things that he had to work on. He had lessons he had to learn. He had a karmic relationship he had to end. He had to change jobs. He had to physically move. For some, it had to overcome addictions, drugs, pornography, alcoholism, had to heal, they're saying for some family issues. For others, heal the heartbreak from a karmic relationship that was a lesson for him. So it's not that he didn't love her. He was taking care of his things that he had to do while she was taking care of her own. But now he's ready. He's ready for balance and giving and taking, ready to come together, ready to move forward, contemplating that decision. But this is a card that talks about the action that the Divine Masculine is encouraged to take. Again, he thinks that, you know, this is a mountain that just cannot be overcome. It's a tremendous obstacle. And so what he's fearing is that, okay, he's come to this insurmountable obstacle, huge mountain that's keeping him from what he desires, keeping him from success, keeping him from love. But what they're saying is trust the signs, the synchronicities. The divine has been illuminating the path, that the moon's lit up here and it's actually shining light on it. They've been shining the light on the way, illuminating the path, giving divine confirmation that this is the direction for you to choose, to make the decision to go in and to take that step. They're also saying, open your mouth, because this mountain, actually, I'll hold it up. I don't know if you can see it. And the mountain There's a face chiseled with the mouth wide open. Just saying, open your mouth, communicate, share your emotions. She has no idea what you feel. She has no idea what you think. She has no idea what you're going through now. For most, she has a really, really good idea. Maybe spot on in some areas. But because it's all intuition, she has no idea. At some point, because also the thing with balance, it's a balance of light and love. It's a balance of spiritual and physical. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Twin flames are divine beings with these strong gifts turned on. So the intuition, those spiritual gifts are extremely sharp, extremely intense. So although the intuition, particularly with each other, is very strong, there comes a point that there needs to be something in the physical as well. So she can believe all day long that you love her, that you want to be with her, that you're, thinking about that and contemplating that. But until she sees something physical, until she hears something, she's going to continue to be turned away. So they're saying all you need to do is communicate. Take that step forward, take that action. Don't be fearful. They're saying muster the courage because they're illuminating the path. They're showing the way. Now, they're also talking about the number 6. So on what to do. He has a 6, she has a 6 as well. And 6 means, main message with 6 means do not worry. So he needs to not worry and take his steps forward. Start climbing that mountain. Communicate. Trust, have faith, have hope restored. The other thing with 6 is it often will talk about unconditional love, harmony, family, balance, joy. They're lighting the way to all of that for both, not just the divine masculine, for the divine feminine. Now, starting up here, we're going to go down the divine feminine and then we'll meet in the middle. Now, the divine feminine, as far as the challenge, the current challenge that she has, we have spiritual union. And it's interesting because, what's currently his challenge is a number 2. What is currently her challenge is a number 2. And 2 is a number that speaks about everything is fine, everything is okay. It talks about that we need to continue having faith. We need to continue having hope and believing that everything's going to work out, because when we believe and we have hope, that leads to positive outcomes. So he's trying to make a decision about moving forward. She's trying to make a decision about opening up to that connection again, opening up to those emotions again. But for both of them, he's fearful it's not going to work out. She's fearful she's, going to open up to that again to be left alone. When it's interesting is they both want the same thing and it's going to turn out beautifully. It's just them both having faith and hope. And my dogs, hopefully they will stop soon so I don't have to get up and knock the cards down, but they're fighting over water bottle caps. Okay, so now with her, this card, it's green. It's speaking of emotions, because her challenge is opening up emotionally again to him, because it is a strong, at the bottom it says spiritual union is what's on that card, but this is a strong spiritual connection, union, bond, divine marriage. On the cup, and I'm going to try to pick it up because I'll knock them all down, there's an infinity symbol. So they have this connection. Her challenge is opening up to that connection again, opening up emotionally to that connection again, allowing him in. Because the thing that she's afraid of, the next card, and this is talking about, how does the divine feminine feel about the divine masculine? And the card is 25, and it says round and round. Because just on the foundation of the connection, twin flames, it really is, it's a magnetic, it's a push and pull. You cannot come together until you're both fully healed, because what you bring to humanity and this love that you have is beneficial for so many people. You can't come together until you're healed. So you do. You keep coming together. You push each other apart. It is a spiral quality. It does seem like a miracle. You feel like you're constantly going in circles, going round and round. And what they're saying is she's feeling and thinking that, because what sends us in that spiral, that going in circles, is there are things that we have to heal, things that we need to learn. So, for some divine masculine, a large number of them, they had to end this karmic relationship with an ex-spouse, an ex-lover, who was to be a lesson for them to heal their hearts, to know that they're worthy of love, to know that they deserve better. They don't deserve to be manipulated, cheated on, lied to, deceived, used. But it was a deep, long lesson. Now he's learned that, and for some it's overcoming addictions. For some it's healing and overcoming family wounds that had made him incapable, fearful of moving forward, but he's overcome those things. Now, because of the magnetic push and pull back and forth, because they both had things, you know, she had to change jobs. She had to do a tremendous amount of healing, open up to doing her mission, embark on that. Had a lot of things falling apart, and had to do a lot of healing as well in order to come together. But now she's fearful, and she's feeling that, okay, what if he's not overcome these challenges? What if he hasn't learned that lesson and healed? And what if he's not ready to move forward? What if we're just revisiting the same pattern that we've had? Because that pattern every time makes me believe it's time for us to come together and be happy and blissful. But I end up being alone and sad. So she's put on this card. If you look at this card, and we'll cover this in a bit, it's kind of like this helmet. She's emotionally closed off. she's closed the connection. That's her challenge. Now, and she's feeling that if she lets him in, they'll just go round and round again. But the interesting thing is, the outcome that she wants is she wants to come together. This card is, you know, it is speaking of the outcome that she desires, the outcome that she wants with him. And it's a major arcana. So we have four major arcanas in this card. We have lead, balance, manifest, and patience. So, you know, the card lead, which is what she desires, it's a card of actions, making the effort, taking the lead, making decisions, going in that direction, being proactive. It's in the traditional tarot, it's the card the Emperor, and you know the Emperor, he's very, very powerful. He's a force to be reckoned with. He will evaluate things, he will make a decision, and he will act on it. And that's why he's the Emperor, because he's very, very powerful, and he's also a natural leader. Everyone looks to him for guidance, for his wisdom, for his assistance. What she desires is him to take the lead with her, to take some action. And I'm going to hold this up, because if you look here, you have a heart, and it has green in it. You have a heart on the top of his crown. They're saying he has been successful at healing his heart. She too has been successful at healing her heart, but he has learned those lessons. He has healed his heart. He has overcome those challenges, just as she has done with hers. They're both ready now. But the thing that's holding them back is communicating these things. So what they're saying, that the outcome she desires is, you know, communicating. So he's holding this scroll, and he's surrounded by blue. They're saying that she needs him to take some action and communicating with her, opening his heart, sharing his emotions, to let her know where he stands and what he desires. Because there hasn't been communication. Like when you look, there's blue in nearly all of these cards, because the element that's been lacking is the communication. But they're both now at the point that they're ready, and they both need to communicate. She needs to let her walls down and open back up. But it's hinging on him moving forward and taking the action and communicating, because she has communicated time and time again, which is why she's turned her back, because she's expressed her love, expressed her desires, and she has felt abandoned and felt as though it was unrequited, not returned, and that's why she's gone inward and turned her back. But they're saying it's an easy fix, opening up in communications. Now, what's recommended for the Divine Feminine, we have 51, and at the bottom of the card it says moonlight, getting ready to come into a full moon. But you know, moonlight, that talks about our intuition. There's actually an owl up here, our wisdom, our knowing, you know, because it's our intuition that helps us, that guides us beyond the things that are seen. It guides us beyond the things that are, you know, logical, mundane, analytical, obvious. And it's really vital and important, and it's something that can be trusted, because, you know, your intuition, so we all have intuition, but it's especially strong for the Divine Feminine as well as the Divine Masculine. And it's something that can be trusted because it's leading you to the place that does not seem logical, but is perfect. It's blessed. And they're encouraging the Divine Feminine to not second guess those thoughts, those intuitive nudges, those signs, those things that she's getting, because her intuition is extremely sharp, it's extremely strong, and it's extremely accurate. The challenge she's facing is having followed her intuition, not had things turned out as she believed they would turn out. It's made her question that maybe this isn't what I believe it is. He doesn't love me, care for me the way I believe and think. And it's had her pull away. You can see here this, you know, they both have like this rejected stature because they're both feeling that. She's rejected and she's turned her back. He's facing her and he's feeling rejected as well. So what they're encouraging the Divine Feminine to do is to trust that inner knowing, rise above the situation, and turn back in the Divine Masculine's direction, and also open up emotionally, open up to your emotions. They're also saying it's, you know, both of these cards talk about balance. If you open up emotionally, open up to that connection again, allow yourself to feel and express your emotions, you will find that it's perfectly balanced. It is going to be truly a give and take. But it hinges on not giving up. Because they're saying this is what you want, and that what you've desired for so long, it's here. You just need to bring your emotions. They're saying you just need to bring your emotions back into balance. Because again, they are reminding the Divine Masculine hears your thoughts. And if they're sadness and they're saying for some of you, it's just not even any thoughts anymore. Like, I'm done, checked out, pressing on. But for some of you, they're saying that there's a lot of thoughts of sadness, anger, disappointment, heartbreak, and he's hearing that, which is keeping him from doing the very thing that you desire him to do. You're wanting him to take the lead. You're wanting him to come in your direction. You're wanting him to communicate, share his emotions, share his thoughts. But he won't do that until you open back up to the connection. I find it interesting that it's really, and again, it's a thing of perfect balance. It's just the two opening up emotionally. The Divine Feminine needs to intuitively, spiritually, open herself up to him emotionally, because then he is going to pick up on that, and then he needs to physically open up, communicate, move in her direction, take some action. And that's all it takes. Now, the Foundation, which is a card that we have here on the bottom, and it's patience, and the number is 14, boils down to 5. You know, it's also a card that talks about balance. And it's talking about also, it's to open up your heart, because they're saying the Foundation is both of them opening up their heart and opening up to the other person. This is a major arcana. In the traditional tarot, this is the, in the Rider-Waite deck, it's an angel. And the angel, you know, she has one foot that's in like water, it's like a river, and the other foot is in this grassy area on land. And it represents perfect balance. Balance between emotions, and which is that intuitive side, that emotional side, creative side, and the logical side, the materialistic, the actions. And they're saying that when they come into, so with the, you know, traditional tarot and the meaning of this card being temperance and balance, it's a card that's talking about a deep love. Two people who have differences, because the whole thing, I mean, balance keeps coming up over and over and over. I mean, men and women, they are different. That's what makes them beautiful, because they perfectly complement each other. That's why there are those differences. And this card speaks about two people, it's their differences that bring them together. It's a deep love. It's because there's such a perfect balance. It's a love that survives internal changes, external changes, spiritual changes. It's a deep love that transforms both of them from the inside out. And they're saying that they both have transformed. And the foundation that they've come to now is they both think that's over. If you look here, it's almost like it's a brown table. And in her hand, she's holding the start of a lily. And it's almost as though they both think that it's dead. That this faded opportunity that could have been blissful, it's dead. It's over. And you have the lily representing the death of Jesus and his resurrection. So they're both thinking it's dead. But what they're not realizing is that by opening up their hearts, which is the foundation this week, they both have to open up emotionally. She needs to let her guard down, be open to that connection again. He needs to open up and communicate his emotions. Because what they both think is dead, it's trying to have complete rebirth into something beautiful. But they have to take off this heavy, clunky helmet that's guarding their emotions, it's blocking that connection. And there's all this blue. And it's amazing how on both sides, it's the same. It's like a mirror of the same story. But bottom line on both sides, she thinks it's over because it's not going to change. It's the same thing. Doesn't love her, doesn't want her. Also, they're saying for some, it's even made her question her intuition, like, you know, how could I have been so wrong? I thought this was my perfect, you know, partner, other half, totally wrong. And so she's closed herself off emotionally. She thinks it's over. He's now ready to move forward, but because of things that have sent the two of them in separate directions, now that he's ready to come back, he thinks it's over. He doesn't think he stands a chance. He's fearful to open up and communicate because he thinks he's going to go in losing right out the gate. But if they both come to a place of knowing that this is not dead, it is truly rebirth, regeneration into something beautiful. But what it hinges on is them opening up emotionally and communicating with each other. Then what it's going to lead to is the card that we have up there, which is manifest. And it's, again, it's a major arcana. In the traditional tarot deck, it is the card the Magician. And it really is a card talking about creating magical things. He's like, it looks like a heart at the top. It's new beginnings. It's number one, new beginnings, a time of great power, a time where anything's possible, everything's magical, the ability to love each other. So by opening up your emotions, both divine masculine, divine feminine, if they can both open up, let their guards down, communicate, truly share with each other their emotions, they're going to open themselves up to their ability to love unconditionally, to support each other, to cherish each other, listen to each other, understand each other, forgive each other, because they both need to forgive each other for different reasons. Again, perfect mirror. But it's also going to open them up to that kindness, that joy, that happiness, and even just enjoying the silly things in life together. It's going to release them to that childlike joy that they both desire. So if they can clearly communicate with each other and do that in a place of love and be honest and clear and take those actions, which really are letting your guard down and communicating your emotions, then they truly are going to manifest their heart's desires and embark on that new beginning, which is something that they both want. Now, okay, so they're going to have me pull, so if there are any questions that you still have, they're going to have me pull one for the masculine and one for the feminine to answer any questions. So, okay, they want to start with masculine. So, prayed over these, shuffled these. They want to first pull, and this is the Doreen Virtue Angel Answers deck. So, the first, you've got to be kidding. The first card that came up for the divine masculine is Take Action. And they don't want me to read the book, but there is a masculine angel. He's on this unicorn. He's totally charging forward fearlessly. I find it interesting, his clothing, it goes from orange to yellow. Kind of like, you know, so chakras are energy centers. You know, your root chakra is red, but then you move up into your, you know, your sacral chakra, which is orange. That represents, you know, pleasure, enjoyment, sexuality. And then when you move up from there, right before you get to your heart, you'll have your solar plexus, and it's yellow, and it represents your personal power, your warrior energy. It's that power that transforms things. The masculine has the power to transform things. And they're saying it'll set them both on fire, both aflame. So hopefully that helps. Now, the divine feminine has compromise. And she's holding scales, coming into balance. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but she's, you know, an angel. She's got her wings there. She has her heart is illuminated. Her hands are open and upward and holding the chains for the scale. And so she's opening up to receive from the divine. And she's going to be receiving something of love that's fully balanced. Scales are not going to be tipping in one direction than the other any longer. So hopefully that helps. If you gather anything else, they don't want to read the books. But hopefully that helps. I mean, this is good. I think this is great reading. This is wonderful information. And the two just want the same thing. And the two just have the same stuff to do. So that actually makes it really easy for everyone to do what they need to do. So I do wish you all the very best in doing that. Filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings. And if you can achieve this, that'll lead to a lifetime of love, joy, and blessings.